A quilt symbolizes comfort, warmth, and protection during a difficult period of time, including grief. This is especially true in the Indigenous community, where a quilt's design can bring feelings of connection and special memories. Manitoba Elder Albert McLeod approached the Canadian Virtual Hospice to create an online platform where people can share their grief, their memories, and photos of their loved ones who passed away. The project is called the Canadian Healing Quilt. Joining us now is Manitoba Elder Albert McLeod. Good morning, Elder.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's talk about the quilts. We know it's warm, it's cozy. When you're like, it's cold outside, you just wrap yourself up in a quilt. But what does it symbolize in the Indigenous community?
Well, historically, we used to use bison hides and robes as, for when people passed away, they would be wrapped in these very, important parts of survival. And as, they were no longer bison, the blanket became, that symbol of warmth and, especially in the closure end of life. So we have the star quilt now, very prominent in Indigenous culture across North America. And that is used in end-of-life services, funerals. The person's body may be wrapped in a quilt at the funeral, or the casket may be covered with a star quilt. And so quilting is, a very old tradition, especially with your mother or grandmother. They would make quilts of leftover fabric. So that's really a symbol, that I learned about, particularly through the Canadian AIDS quilt history, and making fabric panels, in the around year 2000. We had done some here at the Nine Circles Community Health Center.
And when you see those panels, they're all individual. They all have a different meaning, which makes it even more special.
Yeah.
So tell us about how this online quilt project became a thing.
Well, I'm one of the elders for the Canadian Virtual Hospice, which again is virtual, and they have a lot of resources there about, palliative care, end of life, grieving. And so, we discussed the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. There was a lot of isolation that occurred, especially when people were in the hospital. And about 61,000 Canadians died of COVID during that time. And just, families didn't get together, because of the restrictions to have a wake or a funeral or even a burial. So this is kind of filling that gap, historically, where they get to remember their loved ones. And it doesn't necessarily need to be someone who passed from COVID. It could be anybody from that period who passed away, whose family is struggling to remember, or to memorialize them. So this is an online way of doing it. And now families are so spread apart in Canada that this is a way we can come together and talk about what do we want to put on there, what photographs are important to us to remember this person.
This opened up on Friday. It is free to use. And what is your hope? What do you hope to see happen with it?
Well, I think it is to bring families together, the ones who were separated during COVID, and to bring closure, to actually know this person has passed away, because a lot of people passed away during COVID where there hasn't been that ritual, end-of-life ritual, like a funeral.
Right.
And in our society, we need those things, right, to understand this person has passed on.
And when it's virtual, you could share it with your family virtually as well, which is kind of nice.
And you can choose whether it's public or not, and you can select who sees it, so there's some privacy there as well.
So if this is something someone at home is interested in doing, where can they find it?
Well, you just go to the Canadian Virtual website, and then you can make an account, and you control the account as well.
That's lovely. And again, if you want more information, we do have a link on our website. Thank you so much, Elder, for sharing this with us.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.